Very good afternoon to everyone. We are going to begin the webinar. Our planet is drowning in waste. The traditional take, make, dispose linear economical model has pushed us to the edge of ecological collapse. Landfills overflow, oceans choke on plastic, and precious resources deplete. But there is a spark of hope, a standard shift called the circular economy. Transition, sorry, transitioning of circular economy requires a collective effort. By implementing circular economy, we can create a more sustainable, prosperous, and resilient future for all. With this objective, the Puducherry Climate Change Cell is organizing a webinar on the theme Mission LiFE Reduce Waste with an idea of absorbing the knowledge on circular economy and on implementing a circular economy approach to solid waste management. On behalf of the Puducherry Climate Change Cell, I cordially invite Dr. R. Sagaya Alfred, Senior Scientific Officer, Department of Science, Technology and Environment, our today's expert, Thiru S. Sudalai, Assistant Professor, Center for Pollution Control and Environmental Engineering, Pondicherry University, and all other participants from various departments for this informative webinar. I now request Dr. R. Sagaya Alfred, Senior Scientific Officer, Department of Science, Technology and Environment, to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. In fact, it is a great honor to me to discuss the topic of immense importance and which requires an urgency. Reduce waste, the circular economy with approach in solid waste management. And in today's world, we know the consequences because of our unsustainable practices. And if you say it's very important that we have to do our reimagination approach towards solid waste management. It involves embracing the principles of a circular economy. We know that our planet faces a lot of challenges. The mounting piles of solid waste, which threatens our ecosystem, which contribute to our climate change, and which affect the well-being of current and future generations. If you see the concept of a circular economy, it represents a shift or a holistic approach. And this holistic approach consists of what we produce, consume, and dispose of goods. And, if you see the circular economy, we have to take it as an opportunity where what we have obtained as a resource which is to be utilized in a proper way. The current state of the solid waste management, we can see in the roads, the overflowing land bins as well as the landfills, and the pollution because of these solid waste all requires a very demanding urgent action. And who has to have the responsibility? If you see, we have to take it as a collective responsibility, wherein we can change our consumption pattern. We can work towards sustainable practices and demand a circular economy solutions for all these aspects. We have to work in collective for the key principles on circular economy. A few examples may be designing of your long-lasting products, reuse and recycle, waste to energy solutions, and many more. Government, as you are aware, will play a central role in facilitating the transition to a circular economy. but it involves a lot of policies that include sustainable practices to penalize wasteful behaviors of the human beings and foster a culture of circularity. Collaboration between government, industries, communities play a vital role to create a favorable environment for practicing the circular economy. Also, simultaneously, it is important that the engagement of communities and what they have understood regarding the impact on the solid waste management plays a vital role in reducing, reusing, and recycling the waste, which will make a way or a step forward towards a sustainable future. So, in a way to conclude, I would like to state that the journey towards a circular economy is not a necessity. We should consider it as an opportunity for a positive transformation. And what does it require? It requires some bold decisions, collaborative efforts, collective commitment to redefine our relationship with the waste. And during this journey, with a sense of urgency and optimism, and knowing that each step towards a circular economy will always lead towards a healthier, more sustainable planet for generations to come. And with this, I think that this webinar will be of immense useful to all the participants who are here, and which will be we will be having a healthier discussion after the webinar. And thank you for very much for the opportunity provided. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Tirthi Balaji, Senior Project Associate, Puducherry Climate Change Cell, to introduce our today's expert.
Thank you. I'll introduce the speaker to the participants. Speaker for today's webinar is Mr. S. Sudalai. He is an assistant professor in the Center for Pollution Control and Environmental Engineering, Pondicherry University. Mr. Sudalai did his B.Tech in Chemical Engineering and M.Tech in Environmental Engineering from Pondicherry University. His area of specialization is solid waste management, and he has one patent to his name with over 25 research publications, and he has co-authored 3 books. Mr. Sudalai has worked on implementing the solid waste management rules in Puducherry as an expert member in the state level advisory body, and he has also been the expert member in planning of Puducherry as a smart city. We are fortunate to have you, sir, the right person to talk about solid waste management and circular economy, considering the thoughts and the time that you dedicate towards management of solid waste, especially in Puducherry. I welcome you once again, sir. You may start your session now, please.
Thank you, Balaji. Thanks for this nice introduction. I thank DST Clement Cell for giving this opportunity to discuss about the very important topic circular economy. Though it is important, but it is most forgotten concept of our culture. Circular economies are now the term is coined by Western world, but our very basic culture is known for this with a different without knowing the definition of it, we have these practices. And right now we are toward westernization and consumption and every other aspects we want to get westernized. So the global south generally considered to be the Asian and Indian countries. So we have to follow certain terminologies, and now the problem has reached us. Now we have to find a way to come out of it. So certain terminologies and technologies are required to restore our past. So in simple term, most of the IPCC regulations or global treaties, it sometimes it looks very funny because they say emissions in the pre-industrial era We have to reduce our emissions way back 30 years. How much is the emission? That is how we have to emit right now. So these are the things which is really made us to aware that we have to follow what has been followed in the past. So in this context, today is a very important discussion in Pondicherry Climate, DST Clemenceau on circularity. One single session is not going to completely introduce the circularity. It will give a small step to begin the journey of circularity with our present day development. So let me start my presentation thanking all the supporters for this program and Mother Nature for providing me this opportunity. So I'll start my proceedings. I hope my screen is visible to everyone in the full presentation view. If there is no further comment, I can start. I hope that everything is normal. Because now I am seeing the full screen, I'm not able to listen any of your comments. So I request the organizer to connect me with the audience in case if they have any discrepancy on seeing my content or listening to me. So you can contact my personal number also, and please intimate me because now I am seeing only my screen. Thank you. So let me begin the presentation. Circular economy and solid waste management. So this is today's topic. Let's begin the today's topic with the some of the basic understanding of sustainability. Sustainable lifestyle is a cluster of habit and pattern of behavior embedded in the society and facilitated by institution, norms, and infrastructure that frame individual choices. In order to
Sir,
minimize,
sorry to interrupt. The
please,
presentation is not visible, sir. Only your things. Have you started sharing your screen, sir?
1 second. Let me confirm it. I've shared in mid. I'm not sure whether I've closed it or not. I'll confirm it 1 second. Yeah, I hope now it is getting shared. Sorry. I hope now it is visible.
Actually, it is loading, sir. The
Yeah,
PowerPoint presentation is not yet. Yes, sir.
I hope now it is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
So this was slide, and now I'm moving here. So let's begin the discussion with the sustainable lifestyle definitions and how the life has changed and why we need to bother about the circularity. The sustainable lifestyle is a cluster of habit and pattern of behavior. That is what basic idea we should have. It's a cluster of habit and patterns of behavior embedded in the society and facilitated by institution and social norms or any institutional norms or an infrastructure that frame individual choices in order to minimize the use of natural resources and generation of waste while supporting fairness and prosperity for all. So what I most of the academic presentations goes with the definition. Let me come out of the frame. Instead of defining this, I'll make it a little more simple. Sometimes we don't have certain habit, but we are forced to have certain habits uh, because our societal prestigious need requires that way. If you want to restore your status, then you have to follow certain things. One important thing which I found in the recent days after visiting the dump site is the footwear, shoes especially. I have seen partial segregated waste in our dump site. I get to know that more than 8 tons of footwears are available there. So footwear is one such an example. Whether we require or not, we have to wear shoes. Whether the footwear is repaired or not, but we have to change it for fashion and for even if anybody sees our, I mean, if anyone happens to comment on it, then we may not be happy with that. So we keep changing the material before its complete usage, just due to the institutional or norms by social components. All these things made the lifestyle. So if you want to make it sustainable lifestyle, first thing is we have to very careful about what all the materials we need to curtail, and what all the social limits we are bounded with. Accordingly, we can lead a sustainable lifestyle. For the shoes, I said, most of the time the school students were asked to purchase new shoes every year. So I don't know how it is mandatory, though it is wearable format or not in the format, but doesn't mean. But they have to purchase the shoes every year, and new bags every year, and belt every year, and so many things accordingly. So after witnessing those components in the dump site, I felt why we really require these many footwears. So one such example, I start with footwear. There are many components associated with the sustainable lifestyle. So majorly it is comprised into five: food, housing, mobility, consumer good, and leisure. So these are the five major components where the sustainable lifestyle can influence, and by changing this five, we are able to lead a sustainable life. In case if you're not able to adjust based upon the sustainable understanding, then you need to pay for it. That is what the beginning of circular economy. When you are not afford to accept the changes, and if you want to still live in the creamy layer, then you're supposed to pay for the impact you are creating. So thereby somebody will get the resources and they used to process it. Somehow you have to restore the resource utilization in a very optimistic way. That is what the entire story of circular economy is going to be. So now, when we talk about food, a huge amount of food waste has been generated, and there are circular economy we need to develop. I mean, the concept has to be developed. Begin with this. I just give you few examples or few questions. I will raise few questions. So, if you are talking about food, post processing food and pre-processing food. For example, if a paddy grain is there, if the paddy grains are not stored properly, then what happens is they may get they may not be usable. So, can I apply circular economy for the wasted grains? This is one question. Second question is, instead of having a waste management, can I have a shelter for storing the grain? Now, this is the alternative solution. But when the technology is so good enough to take care of the wasted grains and converting them into methane and hydrogen and providing them as a fuel for local logistics, this cannot be venerated until you focus the waste generation itself. It may not be feasible for following. So when you are following the procedure for adopting circular economy, find the core area where to address, and accordingly you can develop. Because when you begin at the mid of the problem, then you may not be understanding where to apply circular economy, whether applied circular economy concept is meant for solving the real problem or solving the real advertisements or for roll call or ribbon cutting or anything like that. Then come to the housing. Housing requires huge amount of material. When we talk about iron, cement, and so many things, when we say 3-star or 5-star AC in a place where you don't require AC, you cannot substantiate that, yes, I'm going to use a very eco-friendly AC in a coastal region, especially in Pondicherry, because the land profile itself give you a lot of breeze. So the basic idea of sustainability begins with whether the material is required or not. Then if it is required, how I am going to optimally use it. Once if you use it, how I am going to optimally dispose it. These three things are essential for housing. And mobility, uh, it's closely associated with the energy so far, which fuel and how we are going to get energy. But nowadays, there is a transformation from diesel petrol based vehicle to electrical vehicle. So scrapping of vehicle is regulatory mandates are there. So how we are going to manage with the existing vehicles or retrofitting the vehicles, and how we are going to accompany the electrical vehicles after getting the electrical vehicles, how we are going to manage the wastage generated from the electrical vehicle. All these things has to be the major concern, and that is the opportunity for the circular economy in the mobility. And consumable goods, nothing to say, it is huge concern is required. fast-moving consumable goods constitute significant proportions in plastics and other waste generation also. Especially when you consider marine litters, the consumable, fast-moving consumable goods, especially with the food and beverages and personal care products, have significant role in marine litters. Small share size from jam or for distributing the oil or the paste, or there are many small packets are coming up. So all such components are adding huge uh, pressure to the municipality to take our in the solid waste management, also in the wastewater treatment. So consumable goods, really we need to take care. The last one is leisure. How we are spending our leisure time, maybe it incorporate fooding and transportation and staying, all this component is there in the leisure. So 5 components we have to manage to make the complete sustainable lifestyle. That's a first one. And ring of lifestyle, there are layer of influences: physical and natural boundaries, socio-technical conditions, personal situation, and basic needs and desires. So these are the basic rings, which is fabricating the life cycle needs. Circular economy, in the terms of life initiatives, can be laid on this kind of rings: personal and natural boundaries, conserving the biodiversity, or even thinking of climate, thinking of natural conservation of near natural resources, taking care of the geography. So all these components, if you do anything for conserving the first layer, physical and natural and boundaries, that's also comes under circular economy. For a simple example, if you are going for a plantation, so then covers the geography, that covers the biodiversity, that covers the natural resources. Then how the plantation goes to the circular economy. The thing is, there are a few products which requires the plantation. Now the plantation is the resources is scattering, then in such cases you can go for a identifying the vast lands, then you are planting, then you are supplying for them without disturbing the natural resources. That can also be considered as a circular economy, or you are handling the source itself. So scope of the circular economy will grow in future. Right now we got a national framework for circular economy recently, and CII also given the report, Nidhi Aayog has given the report. There are several government agencies started preparing the guidelines, and the journey will begin very shortly into the real time observations and experimentations and so many things to go. So in future, you may be having a lot of guidelines which is covering all these rings: socio-technical conditions, personal situation, and basic needs and desires. For all the components, we need to develop certain remedial measures to make the life sustainable. So why we consume? To meet the basic needs, to fulfill the social functions, to satisfy the personal desires due to the influence of advertisements and marketing. Last one is we don't have any other choices. So this is the pattern we are consuming. Now I'll just skip all these things. I just move on. Yeah, when we keep consuming like this, then what happened to us? There is a strategy derived by the UNEP. They call it as Global Environmental Outlook. So this report has given one important insight: grow now, clean up later. So this is the strategy they have proposed. What is mean by grow now and clean up later? The thing is, now you grow, you do development. Don't bother about the pollution being created and the natural resource being depleting. Nothing bothering. You keep growing. At one point of time, you earn more money. Then with the money, you clean the environment or reduce the pollution. That is one kind of strategy many countries are adopting. As a result, once they reach certain growth, hello, yeah, once they reach certain growth, now they are not able to repair their environment. Why? Because the money what they have is very very minimal to consider the damages they have created. So the strategies of grow now, clean up later is not going to work, as evident from the uh, global environmental outlook. The last month rain hints you something, or hints us something. Sorry, hints us something. that now we are looking for artificial catchment area. Earlier we have pond, now we are shrinking the pond for different purpose. Now the moment we are getting the climate episodes, serious rainfall, irrelevant precipitation rates, then we are looking for some catch holding area. Now that is not, earlier it was working as a pond system or wetland system. Now in the name of development we are slowly taking that land. Now again we are giving the same solution. So now getting the land for wetland or getting the land for pond and lakes formation is not so easy. So that's the reason they said, the report said very clearly, grow now, clean up later is not going to work for us. So, what are all the drivers for environmental changes? First one is population, urbanization, economic development, technologies, innovation, and global sustainability, climate change, unraveling drivers and their interactions. Means these are the major component which makes you to realize there is a change. First one is the population. Most of the common understanding is population is growing, but we should understand a basic fact. The population in the urban area is growing, population in the rural area is not appreciably increasing. If you come across some of the rural part of Tamil Nadu or some other, even other places also, the rural area is completely evacuated and many people are shifting toward urban area because there is no balanced income, there is no assured income in the rural area. So now should be this shift of economic development through the rural resources. Thereby the pressure to urban environment will get reduced. So population, urbanization are closely associated and we have to understand and address the issue differently. Economic development, technologies, innovations, and global sustainabilities, all these are the another component which makes us to feel that environment change should happen this way and otherwise also. Climate change, and last one is the interaction among these drivers. So all these things create a lot of basic, and we need to have a basic understanding how influence of what. So we have different scenarios. Based upon the scenarios, we try to identify which part of the component is creating the nuisance. I have to deal little more about it, but I'm just moving to the next slide. This is an interesting chart, which may be including the previous discussion also. This call it as they call it as elephant diagram. So the elephant diagram is a funny thing, but it gives you a lot of meaning. Assume a situation where all the richest person among the richest person in the globe is arranged in a increasing order, in ascending order. Okay, then top from the zero, the zero income to the maximum income. So this is assume this is in a rank. The thing is, here you have percentage of growth for low income group and very high income group. So this 0 to 10 represents very low income group, and the 90 to 100 represent the very high income group. In the middle, it is middle income group. Now, from 0 to 10, you can find the plot starts between 0 and 10, not with the 0. What it hints is the growth of lower strata of the economic of the people who earn very less amount of money. Now their economic condition is slightly growing, their income growth is assured this way, it is rising. So what it says is the low income people are growing economically in a very faster rate, from 10% or 15 percentage to close to 40 percentage. Their growth rate is exhibited. Then if you cross this, there will be a slight shift on the lower middle class. But in the case of middle class and the upper middle class is coming down, then the shift goes up to 80 percentage. Then there is a sudden rise after 90 percentage. So one thing is evident: 0 to 10 percentage of the low income group is also developing, and another thing is evident: 90 to 100 percentage, they are also growing. So who is not growing is the middle income group, upper middle income group. They are not growing, they are coming down, their growth rate is declining from here to here. So what it says, this says the lower part of the society and the higher part of the society are connected with the economical growth, but the middle part of the population is not connected with the economical growth. The thing is, now the concepts of a circular economy is very essential to substantiate this and this and also this. We have to have a linear growth with everyone. So, in order to make this curve linear, we need to ensure the circular economy. I just have few insights. This particular part is a consumer. So he produce or he introduced certain commodity, and they use this commodity. They sell this commodity, and by selling the commodity, they are also getting some economical growth. The profit goes to them, but these people are spending their money, earned money, to these two people. So I'm not saying no to this, but no to this one, but I'm just trying to look for linearity so that the economical growth will be sustaining. And interestingly, India, among the top 10 percentage, you are able to see 90 to 100. No, upon this top 10 percentage, they have classified. An interesting part is the total national income across the world by 2016. India constitutes the 10 percentage of these people take care the share of 55% of the total income. So that's an interesting story. And one more component about the Indian economic growth is the richest person, the share of the national income. You can see here the growth rate over the from 1980 to 2015. The growth rate of this top income group is getting raised. So this is the line which is representing the Indian growth. Why we talk about economics or economical growth in circular economy? This is very essential. Our behavior is our behavioral change is required, that will reflect on the economical changes, and that will reflect on the environmental changes. For that reason only I have shown you. I'll try to correlate why I have shown this in the beginning. So when we talk about solid waste management, our consideration is only one work we are going to deal. But the moment you approach solid waste management is not only one perk. You have a lot of components associated with. Very apparently, when the solid waste is not managed properly, then immediately it goes to the incineration. You can see in the cross-boundary region, Puducherry and Tamil Nadu, or Tamil Nadu and Kerala, or any other cross-boundary region, people used to discard the items and start burning. So air pollution is one major issue. Social unrest, as long as the waste is entering into another's region, somebody's region, not in my backyard, social unrest will occur. Poverty and slum, obviously the impact goes to the poverty and slum, and the global impact is greenhouse gas emission, and the solid waste littering accompanies in waste and wastewater also. So when you talk about solid waste management, it association is with other environmental components has to be taken care. So, if you want to know basically about solid waste, what is meant by waste, I recommend you to go through this report. What is waste? This is version 2, Global Snapshot of Waste Management to the 2050. So, this book will provide, or this report will provide you a basic idea you can have on solid waste management, especially the global data you can harvest from this one. So here, particular plot is explaining about the per capita waste generation. It comes under here 0.5 to 0.9. India is in this region. You can see here this region and this region where we call as developed country. In all the developed country, the waste generation rate is more than 1.5 kilogram per capita per person. So this shows very basic information that when your earning is raised, then your waste generation is also proportionally raised. So earlier I said about life sustainable lifestyle. When you are earning the five component food, mobility, and there are five components that I explained previously. So all these things will have drastic change when the resources are available. Then you will take it for granted. When you are having more money to purchase, you don't bother about wasting the money with the commodity. So all waste generation is increasing in the high income groups. Now, another important point we should study. This is taken from Plastic Atlas. This is actually an important message we should learn. The transportation of the waste from greater nation to the other nations. UK and USA considered to be the most clean countries, and how they are managing the clean is again we should understand. The total plastic waste export and seven largest destination. So the waste generated at UK is so and so ton. These many tons are shipped to these many countries. So now, shipping is not the solution. If I make my place clean, how I supposed to do is I have to go for the end of life management system. If I take my waste and give it to you and keep myself as clean, then it may not be sustainable. At one point of time, the person whom I have given may not be treating it properly. In such cases, I'm accounting for his problems. So, the circular economy concept globally it is very required because the shipment is involved and the shipment should ensure proper waste management. There is another report at this context is very important, that is global resource outlook. So, if you are interested in knowing how the resources are transferred from one boundary to other boundary, kindly refer the report called Global Resource Outlook. They have given several tools. There is a tool called hotspotting, through which you can find how the resources from one country is moving to other country. So now the circular economy try to account the transboundary movement of material from one place to another place, and it places the responsibility on the person who is earning profit out of it. So that is the beauty of circular economy. That is the sole principle of circular economy. Now, this is the plastic waste scenario, global plastic waste scenario. Uh, it has been shipped from place to place, and here the total waste generated. This is taken from Plastic Recycling Decode from CSE. There are many good reports are being published frequently by the scientific NGOs. One is CSE, another one is Toxic Link. There are several for that account, and even Government of India through Nidhi Aayog and from SBM website, that MOUHA. So these websites are providing you several manuals, several guidelines that makes the process very simple. So kindly go through those manual, so that in case if you are interested in studying the solid waste management, or if you are interested in starting business, those manuals are very very helpful for you. This is an report published by UNDP, the Plastic Recycling and Underperformed Sector Ripe for Remake 2019 is a source. So, in which they have shown you the how much amount of plastic being leaked on the seashores. 300 million tons of plastic waste. I mean, totally world produces 300 million plastic waste. Only 9% of the plastic generated is recycled. 14% were collected for recycling, and rest reaches the ocean annually. Either it should be in the land or it finally comes to the ocean region. So these are the major hotspots where you can find the litters. Accumulation of plastic waste across the globe, kilogram per kilometer square. So these are the patches where you can find huge amount of plastic as a floating material. Another important issue is we generally think that plastic floats, but unfortunately, few plastics are less denser, many are heavy dense, so they get into the seabed and create a lot of nuisance in the seabed for aquatic organisms. So at least 19 million tons of plastic end up in ocean every year. So this has to be taken care. Plastic debris is currently most abundant type of litter in ocean and makes 80% of all marine debris found from the surface to deep water sea sediments. This is again information from IUCN. The reason I'm reading these resources is they have a lot of reports. Please go through those reports and try to find. So the problem is not the marine litters. Even in the territorial region, the very coffee we take every day, the milk we take every day, is contaminated with the plastics. This particular cow is accompanying more than 60 kg of plastics, and the milk which we consume from this cow is also possibilities to get contaminated with this material. And one more thing, I humbly make I'll just make the humble submission here. Don't think plastic is a one single entity. Plastic have family. Plastic is a family of polymers. There are several components present in the plastics. There are metals present in the plastics. During the preparation of polymer, they add certain heavy metals. So there are many components associated with the plastics. If you take one single PET bottle, the PET bottle have different materials in it. It may have plasticides, it may have additives, it may have colorants, so stabilizers. So all these components have different chemicals. They have two major category. One is intentionally added chemicals, non-intentionally added chemicals. So non-intentionally added chemicals, they may not be, the producer itself may not be clear about what might be the possible composition of the plastics. So discarding them in a territorial region or in a marine environment, we may not be knowing the consequence at this moment. We may harvest the consequence sometimes later also. Timely, it's like a setting a time bomb. Here, waste generation was GDP. As I said earlier, more income, more the waste generation. And one more thing, when you are having more income group, the income group is maintaining the solid waste also through different process. Here, high income group, the rural and urban high income group, they are able to manage their waste. The composition wise, major composition is food and plastics. So remaining things are moderate. So the major waste management system has to be developed for food waste and the plastics, and few other components also included in this. The majorly these are the components. So disposal methods by different income group. High income group, 39 percentage they go for advanced methods of recycling, and very less percentage of open dumping. But in the case of low income, you can see huge amount of open dumping occurs, and very less proportions goes for the recycling. So low income country, only 3.7 goes for the recycle, but the high income country only 2% goes for the open dumping. So there is another information which we may guess that whether this is treated properly or it's sent to some other country and there it is processed. That clarity I'm not having at this moment. But what all the summary I'm just sharing with you. I'm not authorized to say that, but I can give you an published article through which we can understand this might be the possible cases. But most of the developed country, they do proper waste management systems. Since we scale our country as a developed country, we need to closely work on that. Thanks to the government of India, they are taking several steps. Though we commonly blame the system, but in reality, we should know. Everyone started talking about waste. There are seminars taking place. There are startups taking place. It's a very positive story we have on the waste management. So these are disposal methods for kilogram per capita per day. So industrial waste, agricultural waste, all this waste is depicted over here. All these materials are taken from What is Waste 2.0 from World Bank report. This I have taken from investindia.go.in. It's an interesting site for you. Most of the job availability or the task available for waste management is mentioned over here. Please kindly visit this website, www.investindia.gov.in. They have plenty of information. There are portals available. You can, at the end of the session, I will show you all those components. Based on this website, the data says that only 23% of the total generated waste is being processed or treated. So this shows the potential of circular economy in India. 73% is landfill. So it's a pity story. 72% is landfill. So when you ask the opportunity of circular economy, this is the one such cases. 72% can be derived from, diverted from the landfill to the processing area. India produces approximately 0.025 million tons of plastics waste per day, and is expected to rise also 34 metric ton per year by 2031. Approximately 82% of the municipal solid waste was collected, and remaining 80% was littered. Even in the Pondicherry, we close to the, we are approaching 100, but still few more initiatives has to be taken care. But still, Pondicherry is doing good in collection of waste. We still work on the recovery of material from the waste. Another few years, it may be realized. By 2031, municipal solid waste generation is projected to increase to 165 million tons and further up to 436 million tons by 2050. So, the planning for managing this kind of quantum of waste is very essential. The participants are from Pondicherry, I believe so. These two things are happening around Pondicherry. This is actually a trash boon they call near Marapalam. You can see huge amount of plastics. We have taken this photography and classified what all the material present in that. To your surprise, most of the materials are valuable plastics. Very few proportions are non-valuable plastics. Most of them are valuable plastics. PET bottles are the major constituents, and other low-value plastics are the foams and the thermocol and other things. Now, I'll come to the very important observations here. If you implement circular economy, the thing is, instead of having this thermocol cover, you can replace that with any other bio-based material. We may say bio-based material require more cost. Nothing wrong when this waste is not able to manage, and if it comes to the drain just like this, then the customers and the company will also afford to pay the amount for the sustainable packing. So that is how the circular economy moves on. um, when we talk about national security, most of us bother about the border-based threats, but unfortunately, we don't bother about the pollution issues. You see here the death rates. This is taken from global estimate death in 2015 by major risk factor and causes, and this is the author is Landrian. By 2018, this is a recent publication, 2018 paper in this context. Here you can see that the major reason for death is pollution. When we talk about road accidents, it is less than this, and most of the other components are less than this. But what is the response for this pollution? So, circular economy, if you are implementing it, then there is a possibility to reduce the pollution. The most common pollution which we encounter in the recent days is, especially in the Pondicherry border region, a huge amount of waste has been amounted. They are collecting, and every day evening they are burning. Uh, I don't know how we are able to tolerate this. If someone is giving if someone is pricking you with a blade or even a small needle, you will be able to feel the pain. Why we are not bothered about the pain of our lungs and our system? For sure, those people are subjected to carcinogenic sources, or if they are inhaling continuously. Especially, I'm talking about this location. I don't want to name the location. Everyone knows it's a very apparent situation. When we implement the circular economy, means when we do class source segregation, and when we are making money out of the waste, then we need not to die for the pollution. So this is the basic cause for the circular economy. Please don't think that circular economy is the kind of new terminology where Westerners has provided this technology for us. Nothing like that. It is our old practices. 10 years before, we never throw the milk packet. We never throw the. I remember the Pondicherry mineral water bottle comes in. Almost 20 years before, everyone, even the movie, have this mineral bottle. They used to conserve it because it's a kind of new thing to us. We never throw those bottle outside. We always keep it and keep add water into that. But don't do this right now because it is single time plastic bottle. If you reuse it, there may be a possibility of contamination. What I mean to say is our culture is conserve. Our basic culture itself conserve material. We never misuse the material. But now, since we are misusing the material, we are having a schematic theme to understand that how we are misusing, how we are to restore our culture. So here, the circularity is a way to achieve sustainable consumption and production and other interlinked SDG goals. Why SDG goals SDG goals are required? We have development, but we scale the development with only the economical growth. So we have to sustain the economical growth. If we grow like this, then the situation will not sustain for our future. So we have to slow the we have to understand the pace of the economical development, and the economic development should back with the parallel other development. So that's the reason we have got sustainable development goal, which is incorporating all the nations to contribute, and globally we have to grow with the sustaining the resources. So accordingly, circular economy address resource efficiency, environmental impact, and human well-being. These three there are other components it connects, but majorly it connects the three components. Circularity is global industrialization and excessive dependence on non-renewable energy sources have led to increase in solid waste and climate change, and calling strategies to implement the circular economy in all sectors to reduce the carbon emission by 45% by 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. So this is the definition for circularity taken from circular economy strategies for combating climate change and environmental issues. Now, when academicians look into this one, the perspectives of research has to be open up. Now, I have seen the articles, research work on the circularity. It begins with the 2008 and till 2024, I have found close to 1,573 documents. The annual growth rate of the research work is 24 percentage, and the interesting part is India is owning around 38 articles, close to 140 articles. But if you see the Indian institutions in the affiliation for the publications, we have less contribution. Even we are not in the top 10, we are not in the premier list. We are in the second decadal list. Means most of the country works on India. This is what it says. The institution which is mentioned over here, we rarely find the Indian institution, but the study wise, India has been studied for the circularity, and the study was conducted by several other nations. So this gives us an alarming concern that many people are studying on us because we are the consumers. So we should understand we have to develop a research initiatives for the circularity. Initially, I said about the rings. I said later I will connect all these rings because now the circularity is coined by Italy and China and other places. So now you can think of India have its own consumption pattern, and when we are designing the circularity, it should be more native rather than westernized definition. So we have to have our own consumption pattern and consumption lifestyle. Accordingly, we have to devise how it can be converted into an economic system. I'll simply explain with certain concepts rather going into the details of definitions and so many other jargons. Now you are taking food at the street shops. Let us assume in a hotel or normal hotel or any street shops. What happens is they used to provide the wrappers, plastic wrappers. The very basic problem is whether the plastic wrapper is having any label or whether it comes under any regulations. That no idea. Since there is no labeling, there is no ISO, we never know the origin of it. That is one thing. Do you think that only the hotel owners are interested in giving you the wrappers? Absolutely no. There are many. We interviewed several hotel owners. They said they are not interested in continuing that, but the consumers are interested in that. Now the problem is when they consume it, the interaction of food with the plastic wrappers are not well established. To your surprise, in the discussion session, I will show you the chemicals and I will show you the interaction of plastic with the food material is quite alarming. I'll come to the next part. Once you take the temperature is not meant for that. There are many tea shops I have seen. They take the milk wrapper and wrap the tea and coffee and provide that to the customers. So the milk packet is not meant for packing the material at the higher temperature, but we are doing it for the ageness. Now I'll come to the circularity into this one. When you deal with the food material, the food packing is a major consequence. In Pondicherry town, we have one particular tree called Terminalis catapa. They call it as almond tree. Badam Maram Solon, very near to Bharadasan College. There is a street. It's a wonderful scenic street where the entire street is shaded with the Terminus Catapa tree. I don't know who did that. I'm really thankful for the person who's ideated that. That street set as an example. you see the leaf of that particular tree, the leaf covers two A4 paper. If you cover two A4 paper, the leaf will cover the entire space. It means that leaf is good enough in space, providing the space. Second advantage, the leaf is having copper component into that. When the leaf shuts down, you can see the color changing into red color. That is due to the presence of copper. Now I'll come to the application of this. When these leaves are provided for the serving the street food, it have lot of medicinal lot of medicinal advantages. It provides you a lot of ingredients which will keep you away from diabetic, high pressure, and so many advantages on that. Now, if you are planting the tree, which will give you the large size leaf, and if you are plucking the leaf and providing that for the hotel, anyway the leaf is going to shred. Now you are having two components. One is carbon sequestration. There are two type of carbon sequestration generally said. One is industrial, other one is geographical based. Now you are covering the entire area with the plantation. The advantage of plantation is you are doing carbon sequestration for the urban land. Second most important thing is our UV index is alarming. The sun UV index is alarming, and your only solution for the UV protection is shades. Now the plant provides you the shades. Number two, second advantage. Number three, it provides you breeze so that it will reduce the AC usages near around the place. Number three, and almond, that Indian almond tree, Terminus catapa tree, have the seed. That seed is having good taste, and if you are not interested in taking the seed, you can make use of that seed for biodiesel production and also for essential oils. It's very beneficial tree, so you can get the additional products. Addition to that, you are replacing the plastics. So this is the simplest idea of circularity, where you can infuse. First, we can go for the plantation. One company, they can account this for a green accounting. So they can invest some amount of money. They can consider this as a carbon sequestration. They are able to sequester this much amount of carbon. One NGO or an individual start planting the things, and if periodically he can harvest. He have more plants. Then he can supply. Then he can supply that to the different hotels. Idea is very simple. That is a circularity. So we need not to follow the different ideas. It's very locally done, and we can do that. So now I'll come to the research part. I'm not dealing much of it. In case you are interested, please let me know. I have done certain studies, so I'll share with you all the studies which we are doing in university. I'll try to connect I try to connect the society with the university education system and administration so that the sustainability can be properly connected. That is what I'm always interested. In case if any of the listeners want to do something, do community-based studies or implement certain solid waste management activities, please feel free to collaborate with us. We are open for that. And when we do the research work, what all the research work majorly done on the circularity, I found most of them are biogas production, food waste management, waste incineration, life cycle assessment, composting, plastic waste management, pyrolysis, and life cycle assessment. These are buzzwords in circularity. So these buzzwords have a lot of correlation for the business development. So now we'll see the difference between linear economy and circular economy. The approach is take, make, waste. That's it. You take the resources, produce commodity, use the commodity, and consume the commodity and consume the material, use the commodity, and finally waste it. Don't bother about where it goes. But in the case of circular economy, reduce in the take side, you reuse possibly, and if it is not reducible, not reusable, then go for the recycle. So these are the resources. How it is used. Resources are extracted, used, and disposed as a waste. But here it is not so. Waste generation huge. Here it is very minimal. Pollution, as usual, higher. Here it is very low. Economical model based on the sales of good, based on the provision of services. So here one important thing we should understand: based upon the sale of good, but this is not scaled with the sale of goods, based upon the provision of the services. So earlier you never purchase water. Now you are able to sell water. You are now able to purchase the water. Another sad story is if you are thirsty, you cannot drink water free of cost. You have to pay and get the drinking water. So this shows the economical model. Though we are making money out of water, but now the sad story is we have to purchase the water. So we have to reframe it, make the resource as serviceable rather than economical. So this part has to be understood in a very clear perspective. Maybe if time permits, I will discuss about it. Sustainably perspectives. Why I'm talking about this part very essentially is based upon the Article 21, I believe so, human rights. The every citizen have its own rights to have its own occupation or his own livelihood. When we completely changing the shifting the waste management into privatization, one way it is a solution, other way it is depriving the population which is associated with the waste management is totally deprived, and they may not have the uh, livelihood. So we are in the high time to connect. When we are talking about the circular economy, we are in the high time to integrate these components, informal sectors, then the formal sector, then the private sector. This has to be annexed, this has to be considered, and we have to create a new economical system. I didn't know how many of you understand when what context I'm talking, but with the limited time, I'm trying to establish this kind of things for your information. So these two resources are very very useful for you in case if you are interested in circular economy. One is the report from Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Other one is CII, Confederation of Indian Industries. These two reports are very useful. You can please go through in case you are interested in interested in knowing the circular economy. So these are the illustration given by the CII report: resource extraction, production, distribution, consumption, dispose. So this is a linear economy. So negative and social impact is resource depletion, habitat destruction, pollution, waste generation, increased inequality. In order to make it simple, if you are keep on producing more spoons in the beach side, what happens? The spoons, plastic spoons we produce, is letting down into the marine environment. In rivers, what happened? Tourism will not come to your place. The very shops which is selling the plastic wrappers and the spoons, it is actually an economic loss for them. It is not for others. Why? Because if the place is polluted, then tourism will not be attracted toward that area. They may not have they may not be having the peace of mind to sit and consume the material. So it is actually a win and win policy rather than blaming each other. We understand as academician or researcher or administrator or a common public, we understand the pain of merchants or pain of the person who is doing the business. They have their own problems. They are not intended to do pollution, but we have to have a common agreement between all these people. It's a very simple system we can set as an example, so people will be following you if you are starting the system. Since it's a public forum, I limit my discussion here exclusively. When we discuss about it, even in the public forum, we can discuss and find a friendly solution for all the stakeholders with the circular economic concepts. So when we talk about circular economy, reduce, reuse, repair, remanufacture, upcycle, and recycle are the components. This is how the stages of circular economy moves on. First one is we are in the experimentation, then we will stabilize, then we will diffuse, then we will have the institutionalization. Right now, the circular economy in Pondicherry, we are right now conceptualizing the ideas. What can be done? I'm just witnessing some of the young entrepreneurs which is working on they are working on solid waste management, eco bloomers. There are new institutions started coming in. They are hubbing slowly, they are growing. Government has to support them, institution has to support them, and industry has to, commercial unit has to support them. And there are many entrepreneurs we have to develop. Thanks to Atal incubation center, they are ready to take up many initiatives with reference to circularity. Don't think that circularity is a specific term. Circularity is the chain which connects many components, many nodes. At this juncture, I'll let you know one more thing also. If you are in Pondicherry, Pondicherry is known for tourism, and eggshell is most common. Eggshell can be benefited for a material. Tea can be material. Tea leftover can be materials for the economic resources. Cooking oil can be resource for economical resource. There are many material apparently we can say, and we can give you an idea how to make it as a money. But only thing is we need to have a will and coordinations. So the collection and processing, production and processing, consumption and use. These are the cycle of circular economy. Reduce environmental impacts, increase resource efficiency, go for the economical growth, and what it ultimately results. I've shown you the elephant diagram where the lower income group is increasing. So this can be the token for those growth. So importance of circular economy for India: respect the nature, minimize the resources, share and community, sharing the community. So what are all the specific example where we can infuse the circular economy? In agriculture we can go food, textiles, crafts, and reuse of the products. So these are the life cycle initiatives which can connect with the circularity. So what is our goal? What is the national circular framework in India is saying? We have to do the economic value creation, estimate job creation potential, projected economic value, carbon emission reduction. So these are the different components. Let me openly say, finally you have to conserve the natural resources. When we conserve when we talk about the natural resources, water is one of the important resources, soil is one of the important resources, water body is one important resources, then carbon, which is accounting the global warming. So if you are reducing carbon emissions, that is also a potential. Most of us should have, I request the climate change cell to have a session on local language. That is very, very important to connect with the people. Most of us, when we listen the things in English or other languages, not native language for them, people may not be connected with this. That is the problem. When I have a session, at the end of the session, they think it's a kind of technical session rather than life changing information. That part we have to really cover, and we have to reach the bottom strata or engineering college students or arts science college students, uh, to make them aware that there's a potential rather than going for an attendance or rather than going for a face value. That face you have to remove, or we have to shift it, and we have to make them commit for certain activities so that they will start realizing the benefits. So this the previously I have told you about the two reports, right? So one report talks about the CI reports have two parts. One is the general circularity, then it talks about the focus group. So in the focus material, they talks about the construction waste, they talks about the plastic, they talks about the wet waste, they talks about the dry waste and e-waste, construction material. All these components are exclusively discussed. So please go through those manuals. So here environmental. So I just leave all these things. Challenges: lack of infrastructure, awareness, behavioral changes, technological advancements, extensive level of processing. And see, all these things are again, if I'm not explaining, it's just a jargon. So I'm just closing this. Instead, I will show you some very important component for you to go through in future. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So this is the manual. This is the manual in 92. Okay. This is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So circular economy in municipal and solid waste. This is the manual they have. Sorry, report they have produced. I just take you shortly to this particular manual. Here, recommendation for dry waste management. What are all the policy interventions when the government is committed for this one? You have to make the people aware that these are the schemes available from the government. So MOEF, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, it's Ministry of Earth Science and Ministry of Finance and standard institutions. This is the national level. These are the stakeholders, and these are the recommendation for the government institution. Why we should learn about this? Why? Because government has already said this. Now we have to make use of these resources. So as a commoner, we should know what is being given for them and how they have delivered it. The respective websites are there. Please go through that. Second thing is state ULBs, urban local bodies. Urban development. Urban development department. Then SPCB or PPCC, industry department, DICs. This is actually we call it as local administrative departments, LAD and development agency, UDDs, and SPCBs and industry and departments. They develop bylaws for the circular economic guidelines. They introduce landfill taxes for the dumping, ban on the disposal and recyclables in the landfill, focus on zero waste to landfill approach. So all these things, as a public, we should get aware. Otherwise, we cannot put for the changes. As a public, we should know what is happening. Then we have to suggest that to the government. The government will take up this in a very positive spirit. When we are not responding, who is government? Government is also a common citizen, right? So they are also people like us. They are also affected by all the problems. So they try to find a solution, but only thing is they expect pure understanding from the citizen. Let us have a knowledge on all this component and accompany them why they are doing it. Then regulatory inventions is also given. Infrastructure things also been given. So there are schemes you should understand called convergence. There are many schemes available from different ministry. How to fuse different schemes is very essential. Most of the engineering college should have a special session on what are all the ministry present in government of India, what are all the schemes present in the government of India, how we are going to fuse different departmental outcomes with respect to any particular target. That is very, very essential, and which is quietly missing in most of the education system. And I'll give you a short idea what is the potential for us into this business. Yeah. So indicating if you are having 50 tons per day wet waste processing, Pondicherry, you should. It is not an interactive session. Roughly, Pondicherry may have around 350 tons per day. Per day, we are producing close to 350. I'm sure. I'm not sure about this, but this number is not going to be a big mistake. The Pondicherry urban agglomeration, they call it as Pondicherry urban agglomeration. It includes Puducherry, Ulgaret, Ariangupam urban, and Villanur urban. All these four components constitutes close to 350 to 400 tons per day. That is what my understanding is. So if that is the case, if you are able to channelize 50 tons per day of wet waste, then if you are covering close to 2.5 lakh population, so if you are able to invest some amount of money, those details are mentioned over here itself, toward 81,000. Then you are able to get the extra benefits of biomethanization or the traditional composting for 50 TPD plant. Commercial viability is 42,000. Please, right now I'm not able to explain this, but please try to see page number 35 in the circular economy manual of solid and liquid waste, provides you the basic detail. Please go through this. This is one thing. And most importantly, one important part is I just want to share with you, that is page number 92. Say here, annexures for circular economy for dry waste. So dry waste, so this is the basis. This will provide you a confidence that we can do something. Dry waste in tons per day, it is 47,850 in 2021. So this is the total waste generated. Quantum of material recovery facility in tons per day. Material recovery facility means total waste is generated from your home and other places. Finally, it reaches to one place. There they will be sorting the waste. That is called material recovery facility. In that place, 24,945 ton has been recovered. So that is what the data says. And estimated cost recovered per day is 14 crore. 14.21 crore from the from the waste being sorted. The estimated cost recovered per annum is 5187 crore. So this is the estimation at the present scenario. To make you believe the system is workable, I'll give you a simplest idea. Government spend huge amount of money, close to 70% of money for the collection. I'll make you aware one simple example. Near around your home, you could have seen scrap shops. The scrap shops earn money out of the same waste. How they are able to manage their space, a really interesting factor. How they are able to make the supply chain, and very interesting factor. They are able to sort. The space is very minimal. Even within the minimal space, they are able to sort the waste, and they are able to send that for the proper supply chain, and they are maintaining the value chain system. So how they are managing it, that is the scope for waste management. Now engineering college students or any students from any colleges, or even you need not to study, all can orient yourself what is happening in the waste, what is there in the waste, what is the market for it, what way I can make use of the material. You just go through this page number 92. This will give you confidence. And also they have given some thumb rules. How much is the money, like employee generation, capacity of material recovery facility to be installed. So this many this many material recovery facility has to be established in India. So here personal requirement for construction of MRF is 25% for 100 TPD. So Pondicherry have 300 TPD, so you require 75%. Among the 67,650, we may have few MRF. Already we have one MRF near around Vambakarapalayam from Recity. So this is the basis. Please go through this basis. This will give you a clear idea, or in a initial initially you can work on this. Then you can get some idea how to have a waste management system. I'll stop here because I'm taking more of your time. Though I'm not completely finished, even I have not even started my discussion, but this is a preamble for my discussion. We have a lot more to understand as a common public, and so presentation, don't bother, all these things are in the manual itself. I'll share the manual now itself. You can go through this. They are really prepared very nicely, the two manuals. Apart from that, SBM, Swachh Bharat Mission, you just draft SBM. There are 3 volume of manuals are available, prepared by CPHEEO. Volume number 1 talks about the entire report, how to read the report. Volume 2 gives you the entire design of solid waste management. Volume number 3 gives you the case studies, or how to draft and how to prepare. See, most of you have good ideas, but you never know how to send the proposal. Please believe me, all the formats are there. Please go through the formats. I'll try to have one more session on how to make use of the forms which is available in the SBM manual. To finish this, from Pondicherry University Center for Pollution Control and Environment Engineering, we have a small work group called Purpose, Puducherry Urban and Rural Priorities for Sustainable Environment. Is the name of that. Just for the sake, we have one name. The purpose of this team is to help the young entrepreneurs, or to help the individuals with reference to any of the environmental endeavors. If you have any doubts with reference to the environmental aspects, please feel free to mail us, feel free to ring us. We'll be able to fix one meeting with you. And if you are a group, we'll be able to fix a meeting with you, and we'll resolve your problems. We'll try to resolve you. We are not able to give money or something. We have knowledge source here. We'll try to decipher our knowledge source to you. As an academic institution, we are committed for the societal development. So this is one technical forum which will give you a lot of help in case of any technical details you require. Today we discussed about the preamble, mean the introduction to the circular economy. You have not completed any of the discussion. We just started here. There are many ways to go. I request the team to provide another discussion forum for circular economy. From our department, frequently we have a lot of discussions for enacting the circular economy. Kindly join with us. So I'm opening the situation. I mean, opening the opportunity for any questions. Sorry. Balaji and the team,
Yes, sir.
please. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a very elaborate presentation, and for highlighting again the need for the interconnection between academics, administration, and public, which
Yeah.
you always used to highlight. Thank you so much. And before we conclude, I would like to request the participants, if they have any questions, or if they would like to discuss something with the speaker, the floor is open. You may please raise your questions.
Before they give the questions, I'll just request one. Have one request. Those who are conducting beach cleanup program, please don't stop by collecting the waste. Please take the survey. That survey will connect which kind of waste is entering into the marine environment, which brand, which application is there, which type of polymer is there. This data is very, very essential for us to frame the policy on the marine littering. So kindly, those who are organizing any program, please ring us, or you yourself follow your protocol. Just map IUC, and there are institutions which just provide you the protocols. Please follow those protocols and provide the data. So those data will be helpful for remediating the action. Simply by cleaning the beach, we are not going to make any change happens. So please account the data and provide the data with the agencies, or if you are interested, please mail me. I will compile it and give to NCCR or NCCSM, or even BST have a lot of interest group which work on that. So please give data. Thank you. I try to introduce some of the teams who's working on it in a coming session. There are many people who's working. We started working on solid waste management. So what I'll do is I'll introduce them to the public so that public get to know what are the products available. Last week we have introduced one initiative called used calendars for preparing the pen and other things. These are the pen prepared from the mentally challenged people. So Ms. Sahayam from Buds of Heaven, they are collecting the calendars from university, and now they are processing as a pen and the bag and other things. Now this is one kind of circularity. Instead of throwing the calendars, used calendars, we are making use of those calendars and providing them a livelihood for them. It is they are not going to make money. They are preparing it for their own self-esteem. So now they are showing there is a possibility, and this kind of activity we have to start. And I'll take this occasion to introduce one more thing also. We are having another campaign called Check Your BP. It means brushes and pens. The used pens, most of them are called a recycle or refill pen, but we are not able to refill it. Most of the time we use and dispose. And recently plastic waste management rule include pens also. So we try to reach many schools and public institutions also to hand over the used brushes and the pen, so that we can connect the supply chain. Some of the young entrepreneurs may be interested in collecting the plastics and the pen and reprocessing it, and they will be providing you another components also. So please join us. We are in the conceptual stage. Very shortly we'll be able to reach you with some concept notes also. So please contribute your used pens and brushes also. I hope few questions are there. Let me open up if it is there. Any questions specifically? So a few appreciations. Thank you. Balaji, you may
Yes,
be having question because you are the rescuer of any meeting. So please have your own question. Ma'am, you're always welcome. Ma'am was asking about Anuja Bali. Ma'am, you are the part of the system.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much for this nice presentation, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I am working in Vijayawada, uh, APCRDA. So we are looking forward to Cities 2.0 project, which is uh, which is oriented towards the same topic.
Okay.
So we would like to have your session once for our officials in our
Sure,
office.
ma'am. Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah,
We have been working with our smart city team also. They're also vibrant and they started working on it. So
yeah.
few of my students are volunteering them. So we have good connectivity. We try to establish connectivity with all our city teams.
Huh.
So because knowledge sharing is very essential. For example, we are dealing with the footwear. So we never know who is processing it. Then we get to know if you have national wide database management, who is taking care of what, then that detail will be helpful for us.
Yeah, right. Right.
So approaching one single unit, I mean, if network units are there, then it will be helpful for us to coin the solutions also.
True. Yes.
Even for capacity building, how to have a processing, all these things can be easily done, ma'am. I'm
Hmm.
thankful for this in your initiative.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
So, any questions? We need to have a national data of resources in the form of directory. Yes, ma'am. We need to have a national data. There are many work parallelly going on. If my screen is on, I'll show you some website that will provide you some of the data. Uh, yeah, composiondata.com. This particular site, just now I've gone through to show this. They are providing free data. I'll just show you one more important thing. Uh, Many of us may not be knowing what is mean by plastic, what are the constants in the plastics. So there are databases available which will provide you the basic of plastics, what all the materials present in that. Yeah, this is the list of plastic packing material. You can see the numbers. You can show from here. This is the chemicals for plastic packing database. There are two lists. One is chemical associated with the plastic packing. Currently, 902 chemicals, and other one is list B is 3,353 chemicals. So list A is here. Uh, this is CAS number here, the chemical name, and what is the synonyms for what they are using it in plastics: pigment, heat stabilizer, UV stabilizers, then electronic components, plastic batteries. These are the components have this cadmium fluoride, and level of migration potential, it is mentioned here. And likewise you have more than 900 chemicals present in that. I said about footwear. So most of the time I wonder what is a material, what is the material for my bag. All these things are not known to me. So after seeing this, I understand I cannot know at any extent. So this is the data. These are the constants of plastics. The moment you throw the plastics, these any of this 3,332 chemicals may be present over there. How they interact with your system, we never know. We didn't understand it completely. I didn't say it is wrong or it's something worst. I'm saying it is not understood very clearly. Few papers have taken contaminations in plastic recycling, influence of metals and the quality of recycled plastics. So this discuss about the different categories of plastic recycled and what all the heavy metal presence over there. There are many literature work presently going, and research is insufficient to prove the good and bad. But still, uh, plastic producers also finding a lot of difficulties. When I'm interacting with the people who's dealing with the plastics, their story is also very tough because they are not able to substantiate any one product. They are not rely on any particular product. So we cannot blame each other. That is the only conclusion I had after interacting with the plastic producers and the people who do business, and we common people, we blame each other. This they are producing, government is not taking care. But the problem is it's a common problem. We should discuss and sort it out. Yeah, please, ma'am. Someone has raised the question.
Sir, we
Yeah,
have
please go.
one question prior to the last question
Yeah,
from
please.
Ms. Bhavya Satyamurthy.
Yeah.
She also thanked you earlier for crediting her works with Eco Bloomers.
Yeah. They are doing good work of it. Yeah.
Her question is, does exports from India contribute for or against zero waste philosophy?
Once again, Balaji.
Yeah.
Does this one, does
Yes.
export
Yeah.
from India contribute for or against zero waste philosophy? Um, Zero waste philosophy. Yeah, it's uh, uh, wrong is wrong. Whoever, whatever it may be the case. But the thing is, when we export, there may be the chance for other country to develop a business out of it. So we have to ensure that they are doing when you are giving the technology, and we are creating an opportunity and providing them a feedstock, then that is good. But getting them involved in the dirty business is not good, no matter what country is. I hope we have enough space, and we have, I mean, few materials are going across the boundary, but still this has to be changed. Circular economy is the term being coined globally to control over this, to have a control over this. I hope I'm positively, optimistically giving the answer. Everything have its own turns. So the if wrong means wrong only. There is nothing. There is no glorification on it, but we have to really concern about it. Life is life, no matter rich or poor. Why don't we stop using non-recyclable plastic material? This has to be mandate, the policy side. Non-recyclable plastic material, sorry ma'am, non-recyclable plastic material. First thing is recyclable plastic material, non-recyclable plastic material. We should understand the ideas very clearly. I'll show you one example. This is a straw, which is actually recyclable. But the thing is, I may say I'm using recyclable plastic material, but how I am going to recycle it? The problem is that. So this straw, I cannot collect. I cannot collect separately. The issue is, to collect it, I need to spend more money. So how I am going to deal with the recyclable plastics? Uh, Basic recyclable and non-recyclable is not going to work with us. One more example I thought of showing you. So this is one product. I don't want to show the brand name since it's going to be in the mainstream. So this cup is wrapped with another material. Okay, wrapped with another material. This is wrapped. When you're buying this curd packet, the here packet. So what happen is you'll be able to see the brand name. So this wrapper is made of PVC, and this is made of the recycle number for this one is 6 polystyrene. So recyclable and non-recyclable identification itself difficult. That is a problem. We never know what is recyclable, what is non-recyclable. Even if you know recyclable, how to reach the supply chain is a real challenge. There where we need to work on. And interesting point is this particular company taken initiatives. What they did is, you can see here, uh, drop the straw inside and discard it. That is what they say. So this is how company can work toward. What I ultimately understand is everyone is moving toward that. Nobody want to pollute actually. The thing is, everyone wants to find a solution. Solution is not missing. Our drive toward profit is more than they drive toward the conservation. That where the problem exists. When we make the component very strict, then it have different pressure to come out, different way to come out. Sorry. Uh, I hope I have answered the question. The moderator Balaji should say you have a lot of questions probably. Why don't we stop using? Yeah,
See what I meant.
ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am. Anuja, ma'am, you have asked some questions, but please make it.
No, my voice is, my internet connection may not be good. I'll just type it.
Okay, ma'am. There are many people. I forgot to mention some of the initiatives. There are WhatsApp groups. They are sharing huge information. My waste, my responsibility. One WhatsApp group is there. Eco Chakra one WhatsApp group is there. Zero Waste Puducherry one WhatsApp group is there. Really, they are doing some really tremendous good job. They are making the waste professionals. They're making their job very simple. I thankful for all the moderators who are doing good work at this moment. So I'm really thankful for all the endeavors you people are taking with the social network sites. Surely I will document all these things because in future this circularity is going to be the new business because resources are very depleting. So you people are the basic foundation for all these things. Definitely, I wish to document all these things. So in case if anyone is missed, please let me know. I'll accompany all these things in my documentation. Balaji, I'm done with this. If you have any specific questions, please ask.
Yes, sir. If the participants have no more questions,
Yes,
then
yes,
we'll
please.
conclude the session. We'll take some 30 minutes. Let us wait if someone has some questions. Just 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 minutes. I was really surprised. Yeah, you may be having a question, Balaji. Usually, you have that
Sir,
habit, no?
since I'm organizing this, sir, let us not take it.
Oh,
I have a similar question to what one of the participants has already asked. Say if we are going for net zero, uh, be it for a village or be it within Puducherry, and if the waste of a particular village is collected, and if it is settled as a landfill outside the village, how do we account for the emissions associated with that waste? Because the landfill is no more within the village, it would be similar an extrapolation of what Ms. Bhavya Satyamurthy is asking. Like exports from India, if it goes out of India, will that account for India's credit or whatever? But I feel it is up to the emissions, right, sir?
no.
Where
The
do
thing
you account
is,
for emissions?
sorry, Balaji.
Yes,
Please
sir.
complete the question. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, please continue.
Yeah, the thing is, solid waste management rule mandates that It is actually the role of village panchayat to take care of the solid waste within their purview. So when we talk about one particular village, the decentralized is a mandatory condition for the village panchayat. So the moment you say when the waste is taken for landfilling somewhere outside, that itself something wrong. The landfill site, there is a zoning is there. If you are not having space, then I roughly remember it is around 50 kilometers stretch or something. There you can connect all other states and have one common landfilling. I please refer waste management rule in particular concern. But for your scenario, the basic mistake is the landfilling cannot be done in other places. You have to have a material recovery facility in your own spot. Decentralization is mandatory as per the waste management rule. Then only the leftover goes to the landfilling. Please make sure that your emission calculations are properly calculated, which is including the metal recovery facility, amount of carbon saved by sending them to landfill. Even when you are processing it within the purview, within the jurisdiction of your land, what are all the different options you have. LandGem may be giving you an idea. There's another tool called Suite. So all this tool will help you to understand when you are adopting different methodologies. Instead of going for composting, if I'm going for biogasification, what is the carbon emission benefits? For logistics, how much energy I'm spending? If I'm using electrical vehicle instead of diesel vehicle, how much amount of carbon emissions I'm going to reduce? So this kind of thing you can go for. Even if you go for biochar rather than convert into carbon dioxide, this is how we can map the emission rather than shifting that to another place. That it basically that's wrong. There are many manuals available for that from US SBM Gramin. They have clearly mentioned. First thing they have start with the panchayat meeting, and they can take resolutions and start doing that. There are several manuals available for implementing in rural area and accounting emissions also.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I'll refer to them. I'll also discuss with you later in person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a
I have
lot.
one more question, it seems.
Yeah, please.
From,
Many villages don't have MRF despite the budget from the government from each panchayat. Now, after seeing the circular economy, they have mentioned about 65,000 MRF is required for meeting out the demands. And every national level and state level, they have duties to furnish. So maybe if they adopt the bylaws for this, then they may be having MRF. Apart from that, if interest groups are there, there are many CSR funding can be connected. So you need not depend on one single sources. We can go for multiple sources for doing this, and that's what I said. Convergence is very important. Everyone should know about the possibilities of convergence. The schemes from various departments can help. Like most of the common convergences for capacity building, you can use BAY, Dina Dayal Andodh Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission for capacity building, and they have financial assistance in the particular project itself, especially marginal group you can have. And you can have human resources from MNREGA. Human resources training them in the capacity building of from NULM. Then there's another scheme, national NV set or something, vocational education and training. So MSME, there are many schemes are there. You have to have a convergence of different schemes and realize the changes. We need to have certain vast reading from different reports. Case studies are available, how they have implemented. And CSR funding is also, many corporates are extending their help for this kind of MRF. So one example in Pondicherry is Recity is extended. They have established the MRF. So there are many possibilities. Only thing is somebody should take a lead. Balaji, I have given the answer for the question, I believe so.
okay, sir. Thank you. I think we may end our session now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all people who have participated and share your time with me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now
Thank you.
request Santa Lakshmi, Senior Project Associate, Puducherry Climate Change Cell, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening all. I thank all the participants for joining in today's webinar. I thank our Senior Scientific Officer, Dr. Sagai Alfred, for delivering keynote address. And I thank our speaker, Mr. S. Sudalai, sir, Assistant Professor, Pondicherry University, for sharing your insightful knowledge on waste management from global perspective and in respect of India, and the concepts of circular economy for environment sustainability and a healthier future for all. We will also take your suggestion on reaching out to targeted communities in local languages. Thank you, sir. I also
Thank you,
thank
ma'am.
our department director for
Thanks a
his
lot.
continuous support in organizing such webinar. Finally, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for joining in the today's webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.